Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So I've been going through some of my older videos and I realized that my Waggle video was basically incoherent and you couldn't really hear a lot of what I was saying because I had a poor microphone. So today we're going to be redoing that video. Um, Basically, it's the art of the Waggle. I'm going to discuss why I use a Waggle, where I learned it from, and how I've developed my own personal Waggle over the years. So hope you guys enjoy. As always, like, subscribe, leave some comments if you want more action. So my last video about the Waggle, I covered a lot of interesting subjects. There was a lot of nuggets in there, but the volume was just terrible. The microphone was very noisy, and it just didn't really come out all that well. So today we're gonna redo that. We're gonna make it a little more concise and efficient, and I'm gonna discuss essentially why I believe the Waggle is the greatest practice tool available to any golfer in the game. I can remember like it was yesterday, the first time I discussed the golf Waggle with a close friend of mine in Massachusetts. The word initially kind of made me laugh. It's just a funny word in general, Waggle. But if you think about it, that's essentially what you're doing. And some of my other videos, like my dynamic alignment video, I teach basically the Waggle is allowing you to feel your path to the golf ball. Now, the proper path to the golf ball, when we talk about physics, geometry, and biomechanics, is the inside path. In other words, we're coming from this angle, the club is releasing, going down the line. That is the proper path to a golf ball for elite ball striking. So, in order for you guys to learn the Waggle, I think first we have to discuss the path. If you haven't seen my dynamic alignment video, you should check that out because it goes into depth about the forearm plane, or as advanced ball striking calls it, the 430 line. But just to simplify it today, we're going to call it the inside path. I'm not going to get into too much detail because I've already done that. When you're waggling the golf club, the idea should be essentially that there's an arc which the golf club is going to travel, and you're going to allow the inertia of the toe to do whatever it wants. So for me, that means coming to the inside and back to the bowl, like so. If we look at it from the front, as you can see, my hands don't really move, but my elbow touches my right hip. My left arm comes off my body, elbow pointing at the target, and then back. And everything again is always pointing at our center of gravity, which if you haven't seen that video yet, definitely check out my posture secrets, where I talk about Ben Hogan's real secret, which was, I believe, to keep everything centered so that he was always in balance. But I think today it's most important to talk about the importance of the Waggle and what it will do for your game, and how it is essentially the most important tool that any golfer can have on the golf course so that when their game falls off a little bit, they can get it back. So to me, the most important thing about the Waggle is that it teaches you the inertia of the golf club. In other words, the tendency for the club to want to flip at impact. And again, most golf clubs are designed today for an over-the-top type swing, so they tend to be toe bias, in other words, shut, like this club is. And also there's shaft droop, which can cause the toe to open. I call it toe droop, but it is officially shaft droop. And all of these things combined lead to a design that basically leaves the club face slightly shut. Understanding that is important, I guess, but really what it is, the Waggle will teach it far better than you can logically take it in. It's going to teach you athletically how to react to a golf ball in space. So first thing you have to understand about the Waggle is that you never want it to get away from you. It's not arms. There's no arms involved. It's simply hands and wrists. Okay? And I think the best Waggles in the world were always hands and wrists. And I want you guys to watch this video. I've got a compilation of waggles here that are old school, and I want you to just enjoy it and just feel what these guys are doing and how they're preparing themselves for impact. So pretty cool video, right? You got Sam Snead, you got Ben Hogan. I mean, everybody that's a decent ball striker through the ages has done some form of a waggle. And again, I think it's the most important part of the golf swing, specifically because the hands are the last thing that touch the golf club. Thus, it's the last thing that controls the golf club. And if you start waggling and you feel like the golf club is out of control, you're not going to be able to hit it consistent. But if you feel like the golf club is within your control, because you've been waggling, you then have the ability to hit consistent golf shots. No issues. Okay, so we've determined essentially that the inside path is the necessary path when we waggle. So let's talk a little bit about the best ways to train it. For me, I found that training stability is the #1 key to a good waggle. In other words, that the club face doesn't flip over or doesn't remain open through the waggling process. I think waggling too, keeping everything as tight and as centered to your, or as tethered to your center of gravity as possible is important. So when I'm training people that are new to the waggle, or even people that have waggled before or waggle regularly, I try to get them to build stability in their waggle. In other words, the club face stabilizes at the stopping point. So waggle, stable, stable. And beyond that, what I'm really looking for is that their arms aren't getting away from them on the waggle, or they're not getting too much lower body, upper body type movement. It should all be very tethered to the center of gravity, so you're feeling impact, impact, impact. All right. So for those of you that want to give this a shot, you want to add this to your repertoire, my typical prescription for students is 100 a day for a few weeks until you feel like you can waggle without thinking about it. In other words, you just go to hit a golf ball and you just start waggling. And the idea would be, when we're waggling, the only thing I want you to try to do is get preset impact and back to the ball. So impact, back to the ball without moving your arms. So it's here to there, here to there. So make sure everything is always tethered to your center of gravity or your belt buckle. 100 a day at home without hitting a golf ball. And then when you're on the range, I just want you to waggle until you feel comfortable. And then once you're ready to hit the ball, hit the ball. And that's basically it. Not a whole lot more to it than that. I could talk a lot about how the waggle shapes the grip. I could talk a lot about how the waggle will shape your stance and posture, but I've already made videos about that. So for those of you that want to give this a shot, hopefully you enjoy this remake of the video. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. And as always, we'll see you soon.